The magnetic connection of this figure between the main figure's butt and the base is so weak. Hi and welcome back to the channel. I'm Steven, today with a third-party resin figure review. So what you are looking on my desk over here, these are third-party resin figures made by Imagination Studio, and this is actually my second figure review by Imagination Studio. The first one was Kafka from Honkai Star Rail. Do check out that review if you haven't done so yet. Yeah, I accidentally bought 3 of them back then because I wasn't aware that buying the deluxe version gives me 3 entire figures. This time around, I bought Yae Miko from Genshin Impact deluxe version, knowing that I will get more than 1 figure, just that I wasn't sure whether I will be getting 2 or 3 figures, but as it turns out, I'm getting more like 2.5 figures. So the one on my left over here, this is version A, as they call it, the standard game design, game outfit version, which is my favorite, obviously. And then the one on my left over here, this is what they call the casual version, casual outfit, which I think she looks okay. Version B is actually quite a bit cheaper than version A if you could only afford one. And then there is a version C where you can't buy version C on its own. You can only get the version C if you bought a deluxe package, which is A plus B. Then you get a bonus item C for just a little bit more. And the bonus item C is basically a replacement body for this Yae Miko figure over here. You get a Hadaka version with another head, but you don't get any additional base, no tree branch, nothing. Just the figure and the head. That is version C, which I won't go into detail for today's review because, frankly speaking, that one is quite overrated. Yeah, I mean, it is cool that you get your favorite Genshin, Honkai, and so on, your favorite game character without any clothes on, but once you buy more of such figures, it starts to feel a bit gimmicky and boring, right? Like, yeah. I just bought only 2 third-party resin figures. Well, 3 technically. There was one last year, Dodomo Studios Mine Kitagawa. I have 3 resin figures so far, and they are beginning to feel a bit unnecessary to me, the Hadaka version, but somehow people love them so much that third-party resin figures keep yielding all these anime and game characters when they make figures of, which means they are actually selling. Yeah, this is purely my own opinion, by the way. Okay, going for the set C, which is the deluxe package, the 3-in-1 package, the pricing is closer to $300 US. Of course, the pricing may vary depending on whether you get it from international sites or directly from Taobao in China and so on. And now that this Yae Miko figure over here is widely sold out, yeah, it can go way higher. I am already seeing her going for $380 or $400 US for the deluxe one right now. $100 premium. So if you are starting to look for one right now, like today, if you go to OzGK, which is this channel's affiliate partner, I have a link to the shop down in the comments below, or you go for other third-party resin websites, be it Favor GK or FNC, or even eBay. Yeah, either they are sold out or the price has already been inflated. So that is one thing to bear in mind if you insist on getting this version of Yae Miko, because in my opinion, this Yae Miko figure over here, in some ways, it is a step up compared to Kafka that I reviewed earlier. And at the same time, it also had major flaws which wasn't present in Kafka. So back then with Kafka's review, I included the full unboxing video together with the review into one single 30-minute video. But yeah, the feedback I got was that that is a bit long for a review. Fine. So now I'm separating the unboxing process and the review into 2 separate videos. The unboxing will go into a haul video. So more like I'll buy a few figures at once each month or every 2 months, and then I'll do the unboxing all in one video, and then each figure will get individual reviews later. Yeah. Okay, so regarding the unboxing part, this figure gave me like 2 or 3 mini heart attacks. Well, the assembly was fairly simple and straightforward. For some reason, an instruction manual wasn't included in my copy of this figure. I'm not sure if that is the case for every copy, but it did not take me long to figure out how to put all the parts together. Yeah, it is easy to figure out. The problem was that, weirdly enough, the magnetic connection. All resin figures use magnets to fit the parts together, right? the magnetic connection of this figure between the main figure's butt and the base is so weak. Like, there is barely any magnet. You only feel a magnetic attraction when you get very close to the figure. Yeah, it was way too weak, and I have no idea what happened. Is there a QC issue where maybe that batch of magnets used by Imagination Studio, they were faulty in a way? Or were the magnets displaced? Like, you put magnets in the mold and then you pour the resin in, and then the magnets were somehow displaced during the casting process or 3D printing process. I'm not too sure what happened, but the magnetic connection was so weak that it does not take much to knock over this figure backwards, especially on this version A. Because of the detail on her outfit, this figure is very back heavy. Yeah, so my suggestion is that if you own this figure or you plan to buy one regardless of the inflated price, you need to put something soft behind the figure over here on the surface of your shelf just in case it falls over. Or even better, you go to a stationery store and buy some sticky tags, and then you shove those sticky tags, very sticky dough-like material, right underneath the figure over here, and it will keep the figure in place for a long time. So the nice thing about sticky tags is that they don't leave behind any stains on the figure. You don't have to worry about all those sticky stains that are hard to remove. You need acetone to remove those. So yeah, this figure is so easy to knock over simply because the magnets were too weak. And that wasn't the case with Kafka. Yeah, my first Imagination Studio figure. In fact, Kafka's magnetic connection was so strong that once you put the figure onto the base, it takes quite a lot of force to pull the figure off the base. It was that strong. And this is the exact opposite of that. I have no idea what happened. Based on the feedback I got from you guys, some of you also own this figure. Apparently, I'm not the only one who feels the same way about this Yae Sakura figure, and arguably this is the biggest flaw of this figure. Does version B and version C suffer from the same exact issue? The answer is yes. Not as bad as version A simply because version A has a more complex outfit over here. More weight. Version B, the figure is less back heavy, but the connection between the figure and the base is still extremely weak. The same thing applies to the Hadaka version, the version C. So be very careful with displaying this figure. And then the second, slightly lesser problem with this figure is that because of how ambitious Imagination Studio is being with this figure, there are a lot of tiny fragile parts, and I have already broken at least a couple parts on this figure, not too different from Forts Japan or B-Full figures that are made with PMMA, which is very similar to resin in a way, and also 3D printed. So I can't say I can fault Imagination Studio for this because that is the nature of the material, resin. However, I think that this could have been rectified by mixing in rubber-like resin into the mold, into the mix, right? I think it is exactly because these figures are most likely to be 3D printed and not casted in a mold. That is why you can't really mix different materials into one single part. I mean, 3D printing, you just go from bottom to top layer like that. But I would love to see some flexible materials being incorporated to the more fragile parts over here. That is my view, by the way. Moving on to the main figure itself, this is where all the bad news end. From this point onwards, everything I have to say about this pair of figures are all praises. I'm very happy with what Imagination Studio did with this pair of figures. The only sad part is that these were not PVC ABS figures instead of resin, right? Okay, the face of the figure, which I regard to be the most important part of any anime figure. Oh boy. When I saw pictures from other users back then, this figure came out like 3 months ago. I really liked what I saw. And then I did not even think much about buying the figure because I believed I was too late. After all, I did not pre-order the figures, but they happened to be sitting in a store, last unit in stock. And I thought, why not? Just grab them and review them. People are going to love this figure, right? So I bought them, and then now that I get to see the figure myself, the face on this pair of Yae Miko figures, not only are they very consistent, which is the case with Kafka as well. 3 figures with Kafka, all 3 faces, all 3 head sculpts were exactly the same. The same thing applies to Yae Miko, all 3 head sculpts were exactly the same. And the second thing is that the mouth, and the smile, everything. The face sculpt is, I'm not sure if I can call it accurate compared to what we see in the game Genshin Impact, but I like it a lot. And I would say this is pretty close to the original character design in the game. I would say 90% easily. The rest of the figure, the torso, the body, the outfit design, and the detail, all the way down to the legs, well, I would say that it is not exactly that unique or outstanding in any way. More like, if I were to compare these to genuine licensed figures by Apex Toys, for example, they are about on par. They are about the same in terms of the level of detail and paint work. Very clean, very neat, not much flaws. I don't think I saw any flaws. I did not see any paint bleeding or scratches or any glue stains at all. Quality control is pretty high on the paint side. Just that I wish there is a bit of shading on her hair. I know that this kind of detailed outfits, you won't be able to see much shading because the details alone are already quite a feast to our eyes, but at least for the hair over here, I would love to see a bit more shading. This is on the plain side. There are some shading, but I think it could make use a bit more of it. Yeah, maybe I'm just being picky over here. Moving down to the base, which I actually do like it quite a lot, and I think I was really lucky to receive both figures without any broken tree branches over here. The base is something I don't have any complaints about. Like, it is a fancy diorama we are getting, but at the same time, they are heavy, they are stable, and they don't take up a lot of space. I mean, you guys can tell from this video itself. Yeah, the amount of surface area this figure occupies is not much. The only unfortunate part is, once again, the connection between the figure and the base is very disappointing. Normally, I would do a stability test for every figure that I review. I want to know whether the figure wobbles or not when I shake them. But no, I am not trying it with this pair of figures over here. I don't want to go through whatever I experienced in the unboxing process again. The thing is guaranteed to flip over, right? Coming down to the conclusion of today's figure review, can I recommend this pair of Yae Miko figures? The answer is yes, but only if you can accept the weaknesses of the material resin when being used to make a figure. Yeah, and of course, the potential stability issues related to this figure over here. If you live in a very earthquake-prone country, I don't suggest you buying them. You're guaranteed to break it in case it happens. But outside of that, if you just want a really high quality Yae Miko figure and you are willing to burn some cash for it, then it is worth buying it if you can find them in stock for a reasonable price, right? And that concludes my figure review on Imagination Studios' Yae Miko from Genshin Impact. I hope you found this review helpful and informative, and if it is, please give this video a like, a thumbs up, and subscribe to this channel for more anime figure content every week. And until then, I shall see you guys again really soon. Goodbye.